Next, please write down the heading, sir. Just now we discussed in center. Now we will discuss circumcenter of a triangle. Again, as I said, we will not go in detail about the circumcenter topic. Circumcenter of a triangle. What is the meaning of this circumcenter? Circumcenter is nothing but it is an intersection point. It is a point of intersection of. It is an intersection point of perpendicular bisectors. It is an intersection point of perpendicular bisectors of a side. That means from one particular side you will draw a straight line which is perpendicular, and that perpendicular line whatever you are drawing will bisect. It will bisect into two equal half. That is the reason it is called as perpendicular bisector. I believe this point is clear. That means there is a triangle like this. I am just giving a very small explanation about circumcenter. There is a triangle like this. From this particular side BC, I am drawing a perpendicular bisector. That means this line is perpendicular to BC, and this line will divide the triangle into two equal half. Similarly, from this triangle, from this A, from this side AB, I will draw a perpendicular line. From this side AC, I will draw a perpendicular line which will divide the triangles into equal half. The point of intersection of all the three perpendicular bisectors from three different sides of a triangle is nothing but represented by circumcenter. Circumcenter is given by the notation usually generally C. Capital C, but because I have used C already here, let me not get confused about this C also, sir. Let me give a notation with coordinates as H comma K for circumcenter. Anyway, do not worry about the coordinates. You can name it anything, whatever you like. I believe intersection point. It is a point of intersection of perpendicular bisectors which is drawn from each side of a triangle. I believe the definition is clear. Now, let us solve one question on perpendicular circumcenter concept. Suppose there is a triangle. Suppose there is a triangle. The triangle coordinates are first is A3, 1, second is B4, 5, and the third coordinate is C6, 7. These are the coordinates of the triangle. Your question is, find the coordinates of circumcenter. Circumcenter coordinates is what I am interested in finding in this question. Now see here, sir. The same diagram. Let me draw it in the next screen if you want to. The same diagram I am drawing once again. This is point A, 3, 1. This is point B, 4, 5. And the other point is C, 6, 7. And from BC, I will draw a perpendicular bisector which will divide that triangle into two equal halves. Right now, perpendicular bisector means it will divide into two equal halves. That means this is nothing but the midpoint, right? If it is dividing into two equal halves, this particular point will act as midpoint, right? It will act as midpoint. Now, somewhere here the circumcenter is present. I will represent it as H, K. I need to find the value of H. I need to find the value of K. Now, this particular point is the midpoint. Now, how to find the coordinates of midpoint? By using midpoint theorem. Simple. Midpoint theorem is this particular point which is in black color right now is the midpoint of 2 points B and C. So, midpoint theorem says x1 plus x2 by 2, 4 plus 6 by 2 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12, 12 by 2 is nothing but how much? 6. So, the midpoint of these two is 5, 6. Now, think little logically, sir. Can I say that how will you find the slope of this line which I am drawing in black color right now? The slope of this line is given by, it is having 2 points. One of the point is H, K, another point is 5, 6, and that line is perpendicular to line BC. How will you find the slope of BC? Again, BC is having 2 points. So, by point form of slope point form, let me find the slope of these two. That means the slope of perpendicular slope of perpendicular is y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1, y1 x1 y1 divided comma x2 y2, y2 minus y1, it is 6 minus k, or I can write it as k minus 6 also, x2 minus x1 5 minus h, or I can write it as h minus 5, right? X minus 6 divided by h minus 5 is the slope of the perpendicular, and that line is perpendicular to this BC. So let me also find the slope of that BC. Slope of BC is again y2 minus y1, it is 7 minus 5, it is nothing but 2. It is 2 divided by x2 minus x1, it is 6 minus 4, again 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 by 2 is nothing but 1. Now why did I take the slope of these two? Because we know that if the slope of perpendicular I call it as m1 and slope of perpendicular I will call it as m2, and because these two, slope of BC I will call it as m2, because these two lines are perpendicular to each other, product of their slopes will be equal to minus 1. We already learnt it, sir. Product of their slopes will be equal to minus 1. That means k minus 6 divided by h minus 5 into m2 value is 1. This is equal to minus 1. This is my first equation, I will call it, right? I will call it as my equation 1. Similarly, now see here, let me draw the diagram once again. Now you don't need to draw it too many times in the exam, sir. Why are you drawing then, sir? Only for your explanation. B is 4 comma how much? 5. C value is 6 comma 7. And we understood that that is not the only perpendicular bisector which can be drawn from BC. Yes, from BC this is the only perpendicular bisector, but I can draw from AC also, or I can draw from AB also. Suppose if I take, let me draw a perpendicular bisector from AC. This will be 90 degrees and this will be my, what is that? This will be my centroid, right? Sorry, circumcenter. Sorry, this will be my circumcenter. I will call that circumcenter as h comma k. That means, can I say that this perpendicular, whatever I have drawn right now, is perpendicular to AC. It is perpendicular to AC. First of all, what is the point? This is my midpoint right now. What are the coordinates of that midpoint? It is x1 plus x2 by 2. 3 plus 6 by 2 is 9 by 2, comma y1 plus y2, 1 plus 7 is 8, 8 by 2 is 4, 9 by 2, comma 4 is the coordinates of those midpoint. Now, can I say that I can find the slope of this perpendicular which I am drawing in red color right now? Slope of this perpendicular, slope of perpendicular is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That means it is k minus 4 divided by h minus 9 by 2. Similarly, this I will call this slope as m3 for your explanation. Similarly, slope of line AC is y2 minus y1, 1 minus 7. Or it is, you can take either way, 7 minus 1, it is 6, divided by x2 minus x1, 6 minus 3, it is 3. So this 6 by 3 is 2, I will call it as m4. Why did I take m3 and m4? Because I know that they are perpendicular lines and product of two perpendicular lines slopes will be minus 1. That means k minus 4 divided by h by minus 9 by 2 into m4 value is 2 is equal to minus 1. This is my second equation. This is my equation 2. What is that we are required to find in this question, sir? Find the coordinates of circumcenter. I named the coordinates of circumcenter as h comma k. In the first equation I have h and k. In my second equation also I have h and k. Two equations, two unknown variables. Please solve those two equations. Solving equations 1 and 2. I will definitely not spoon feed you by solving equations 1 and 2, which are nothing but simultaneous equations, which you know how to solve it very easily. If I solve it, I will get finally h comma k value as 9.5 comma 1.5. The coordinates of circumcenter for this particular question is 9.5 comma 1.5. Please do not expect me to solve these two equations, sir. I will give you a small hint if you want to. Right hand side of equation 1 is minus 1. right hand side of equation 2 is also -1. Equate the left hand side and shift all the one variables into one side, other into other side. You will get k value, h value, all those things. Very easily you will get it. Those are something which simultaneous equation solving which we have studied in our school days. I will not be solving, but ultimately when you solve, you will get h and k values as 9.5, 1.5. Sir, I don't like to solve it, sir. Is there any other method after getting equations 1 and 2? After getting equations 1 and 2, I don't like to solve. Is there any other method? Yes, you have a method. What is that method? Because 9.5, 1.5 is the correct answer, that will definitely be one of your answer option. Put x value 9.5 or h value 9.5 and k value 1.5 in both equations 1 and 2. If both equations are satisfied, then that value is correct, otherwise incorrect. Very, very simple way of understanding. But do not worry too much, sir. Till this point of a time in your SSC examination or many other examinations where coordinate geometry is there, circumcenter questions has not come, and this is a clue. But kindly do not avoid, because anyway it's a very simple logic to understand and easily you can solve these questions. I hope the concept of circumcenter is clear for you people. Next one, orthocenter of a triangle. We just learnt circumcenter. Now what is this orthocenter? Again, let us not go too much in detail. Orthocenter is nothing but point of intersection. Circumcenter, what is the meaning of circumcenter, sir? Circumcenter is the point of intersection of perpendicular bisectors. That means that they should be perpendicular from a given side and it should bisect. That means that point should be a midpoint. It should bisect the triangle into two equal half. But orthocenter means it is a point of intersection of altitudes. What is the meaning of a perpendicular bisector? Perpendicular bisector means the line should be perpendicularly drawn from a side and it should bisect into two equal parts. Altitude means the line should be perpendicularly drawn from a side and it need not bisect into two equal parts. If it does not bisect, it is given as a name called as altitude. If it bisects, the same altitude is called with a different name called as perpendicular bisector. That is the only difference. Do not too much worry about these terminologies. Suppose there is a triangle. This triangle is ABC, right? This triangle is ABC. Orthocenter means from side BC, I will draw a perpendicular line. This line is perpendicular, but that line, it does not mean that the line is dividing into two equal parts, right? That is not the meaning, right? If it divides, it is called as perpendicular bisector. If it does not divide equally, it is called as altitude. Simple, sir. Suppose from line AC, if I draw a altitude like this, from line AB, if I draw an altitude like this, all the three altitudes are meeting at this particular common point, and that common point is nothing but orthocenter, usually represented by O. But do not worry about representation of O or C or whatever it is and get confused, because in coordinate geometry for origin also you will use it as O. So don't get confused. In simple, the coordinates of orthocenter is h comma k. Please remember like that, right? H comma k, or you can take any other, sir. P comma q, yeah, m comma n, whatever you want you can take. There is no rule that you should take h comma k itself. Now similar to circumcenter, let us solve one question here. Now what is this question? Suppose there is a triangle, same like circumcenter, sir, no difference. There is a triangle. The coordinates of this A is 3 comma 1, coordinates of B is 4 comma 5, and coordinates of C is 6 comma 7, and you are asked to find the coordinates of orthocenter. Find the coordinates of orthocenter is your question. Now see here, sir, same logic like the way I did circumcenter. I will draw the triangle once again, so that my students will understand it better. This is A, 3 comma 1, this is B 4 comma 5 and this point is C 6 comma 7. Now from line BC, this line BC is there, right? From this line I will draw a perpendicular line toward the other point A, right? I will draw a perpendicular line. Now this line is perpendicular, but it is not a perpendicular bisector, it is an altitude. That means this particular point, it is not a midpoint. That is the difference between perpendicular bisector and altitude. Please remember, please understand this difference. A very, very important difference. If it has to be a perpendicular bisector, this particular point will become midpoint. And in our previous problem, we used midpoint theorem. But here it is not a perpendicular bisector, but an altitude. So this point is not a midpoint. I hope you are understanding the logic, right? I hope you are understanding the logic of this particular thing. Now see here, sir. Same logic I will use it to get. Now somewhere here I have my ortho center, which I will represent at h comma k. Now see here, can I say that what is the slope of this perpendicular altitude? What is the slope of this altitude? Slope of this altitude is y2 minus y1. That means k minus 1 divided by x2 minus x1, h minus 3. This is the slope of the altitude. I will call it as m1. And it is perpendicular to which line? It is perpendicular to BC. Same like my previous problem, sir. No change in the approach. Perpendicular to BC means find the slope of that BC. 7 minus 5 is 2, 6 minus 4 is 2. It is again 2 by 2 in this particular case also. That means it is 1, which is nothing but m2. So what we know that the product of two perpendicular lines is minus 1. Slopes of product of the slopes of two perpendicular lines is minus 1. So m1 is k minus 1. m2 is h minus 3, k minus 1 by h minus 3 is m1, m2 is 1, it is equal to minus 1. This is my first equation, same like my previous case. And if I draw the same triangle once again, to draw another altitude from a different side, A coordinates is 3, 1, B coordinates is 4, 5, C coordinates is 6, 7. Suppose for example, I have another altitude right now. In the previous case I have drawn one altitude. Now I will draw another altitude. That another altitude, suppose for example I will draw it from AC, from line AC. I will draw an altitude like this, right? This is also 90 degree. I will represent the same line whatever I have drawn here in this particular diagram. From line AC I will draw altitude. This line, this point is not the midpoint right now because it is not a perpendicular bisector. Now somewhere here I have my ortho center. This is h comma k. Now what is the slope of this altitude? Slope of this altitude is y2 minus y1, k minus 5 divided by x2 minus x1, h minus 4. And this line, this altitude is perpendicular to which line? It is perpendicular to AC. So find the slope of AC. Same logic. Slope of AC is y2 minus y1, 7 minus 1 is 6, 6 minus 3 is 3. So it is 6 by 3, 2. This I will call it as m4. This I will call it as m3. And we know that m3 into m4 is minus 1 because those two particular lines are perpendicular to each other. m3 is k minus 5 divided by h minus 4. m4 is 2 equal to minus 1. I will name this equation as equation 2. Equation 2. Equation 1 is having two unknown variables h and k. Equation 2 is also having two unknown variables h and k. Please solve these two equations. Solving equations 2 and 1, we get the value finally for h comma k as minus 6 comma 10, which I did not show you how to solve those two equations because that is something which I believe that each and every student must and should know because that is something which we have studied from our school days. Finally, the ortho center for this particular question is how much? It is minus 6 comma 10. I hope the idea is very clear, and I believe that you understood the difference between circumcenter and orthocenter, and you also understood the difference between perpendicular, bisector and altitude. I hope everyone is supremely clear with these concepts. Next, now we learnt circumcenter, right sir? We learnt circumcenter, and we also learnt orthocenter. We learnt circumcenter for a triangle and orthocenter for a triangle, but if we want to apply the circumcenter and orthocenter specifically in right angled triangle, how it can be applied. Again, we will not go too much in detail for this coordinate geometry class, because we will go in detail in geometry class, right? Orthocenter and circumcenter in right angled triangle. Now this is a right angled triangle. Let me name this right angled triangle as ABC. Now this is a 90 degrees, right? This is 90 degrees. Now which will be acting as orthocenter in right angled triangle, which will be acting as circumcenter. Now the point at which the right angle is created, that point is nothing but orthocenter. The point at which the right angle is created, that point is nothing but orthocenter. Similarly, which will be acting as the circumcenter? What is the hypotenuse of this right angle triangle, sir? Hypotenuse is AC. Take the midpoint of hypotenuse. The midpoint of hypotenuse will be acting as circumcenter in case of right angle triangle. Let me recap it once again, sir. In a right angle triangle, whichever the point right angle is created, whichever the point is creating that right angle 90 degrees, that point is considered as orthocenter. And in a right angle triangle, there will be hypotenuse. Exactly at the mid of that hypotenuse, the midpoint of hypotenuse will act as circumcenter. Sir, can you give the proof? Not interested in this topic of coordinate geometry? Please refer to our class on geometry. Probably you will find the proof at that place. I hope the idea is clear. Now this is the concept. Suppose, let us solve one original question which had come in the year 2016. Listen to this carefully, sir. Very easy question. Find the circumcenter. The questions are damn easy, sir. Find the circumcenter, or let us find the circumcenter itself. Find the circumcenter. This was given in the year 2012, sir, not 2016. My mistake. It is not 2016. It was in the year 2012. Find the circumcenter. Find the circumcenter means it is nothing but find the coordinates of circumcenter. That is the meaning of it. Find the coordinates of circumcenter of a triangle whose vertices are 2, minus 4, 2, minus 4, 6, minus 4 and 2, minus 10. Now see here, sir. Very easily you can find these questions, sir. It is not at all difficult to find. First of all, let me represent in a coordinate axis. First thing is 2, minus 4. That means from origin you will travel towards 2 units for positive x-axis, minus 4 units for negative y-axis. You will find this point called as 2, minus 4. Similarly, 6, minus 4. Again it is minus 4 only, but 6 units toward the positive x-axis. 6, minus 4. 2, minus 10. So 2 means again this point itself, but minus 10 units downwards towards the positive negative y-axis. Now if I join these 3 points, this point is nothing but point C, 2 comma minus 10. If I join these 3 points, it forms a right angled triangle. I hope you are able to understand it, sir. Right, it forms a right angled triangle. But the question is, in this right angled triangle, find the circumcenter. First of all, if the question is find the orthocenter, what should be the answer? Orthocenter is a point where the right angle is formed. It is formed at point A. Orthocenter for this question is 2 comma minus 4. But I am interested in circumcenter. Circumcenter means it should be the midpoint of hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is nothing but BC. BC is the hypotenuse. The midpoint will represent the circumcenter, and midpoint can be found out by two coordinates by using midpoint theorem as x1 plus x2 by 2. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 by 2 is 4. y1 plus y2 by 2. Minus 4 minus 10 is minus 14. By 2 is minus 7. Answer for this question is circumcenter is 4 comma minus 7. If orthocenter was asked, it was 2 comma minus 4. Very easily you can solve it, sir. One more question in this particular right angle triangle concept. Suppose in this question, first question it was asked for circumcenter. Let us solve a question which is asked for orthocenter in this question. Find the orthocenter of a triangle. Find the orthocenter of a triangle whose vertices are. Find the orthocenter of a triangle whose vertices are 0 comma 0, 0 comma 3, 4 comma 0. And this was your original question which came in the year 2016. Now see here, sir. Very easy and very simple way of solving. This is the coordinate axis. In this coordinate axis, first point is 0 comma 0. Yes, I am happy with this point. Second is 0 comma 3. This is my second point, 0 comma 3. Third point is, that means from here to here there is a distance of 3 units. Third point is 4 comma 0. This is 4 comma 0. That means from origin till this point there is a distance of 4 units. From origin till this point there is a distance of 3 units. If I join the 3 points, then I will be forming a right angled triangle. Right angled triangle. It is happening at which point? The right angle is formed at which point? The right angle is formed at 0 comma 0. That is nothing but the orthocenter for this question. Answer for this question is how much? 0 comma 0. I hope it is very clear for you people, sir. And suppose for example, if circumcenter is at circumcenter, first of all, if it is 3, 4, this entire is nothing but 5 units, right? This entire is 5. Circumcenter is nothing but the midpoint. Midpoint of 0, 3 and 4 comma 0. x1 plus x2 by 2, that means 4 by 2 is 2. y1 plus y2 by 2, that means it is 3 by 2 is 1.5. 2 comma 1.5 should be the circumcenter. 0 comma 0 should be the orthocenter. The original question which is asked in 2016 is a very easy question. Please remember, it's an examination question. Original question which was asked in 2012, again it's a damn easy question. That means coordinate geometry. I have told you so many times in my last so many hours of this particular topic that the questions in coordinate geometry by nature will be very easy. Please do not ignore this topic by any means, because you will have the probability of getting right answer in this topic very high. That means if 5 questions, I am just telling an if condition. If 5 questions are given in coordinate geometry topic, probability of getting all the 5 questions are high. Probability of getting right answer for all the 5 questions are high, because the problems are relatively very easy by nature. I hope This beautiful topic on coordinate geometry is very essential for you and very easy for you and very easily solved. I believe that you can solve very easily in your examination hall and get full marks in this particular topic, and you can put a tick mark and say that this is a topic I would love to get in the examination. I hope this topic is clear, sir.